There is a place that is spoken about only in whispers, a dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends, a place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view, but when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Hello and welcome. It's a brand new week. You're tuned into the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Beyond the Darkness on a Supernatural News Parashare Monday. I'm your host, Dave Schrader. That guy right there, that guy, you can see him right there sitting at the Supernatural News desk, ready to roll, Mr. Tim Dennis. Hi, Tim.
Why do you insist people can see me?
Because this is theater of the mind part deux. This is, when you read these stories, we share with people, they feel like we're right there with them in their living rooms or in their cars or in the next cubicle at work. So I kind of sense like they can see us. So put some clothes on, for God's sakes.
That freaks me out.
What, wearing clothes?
Well, that too.
Right.
I like to call myself Tarzan Boy in the hours I'm not working.
Yeah, you're the only one that does. Let's get started in the world of supernatural news. Tim, where shall we begin?
London.
Mm-hmm. Dun, 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 dun.
Where I'm going to mispronounce a bunch of city names, and you're going to sit there and take it, you.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a mystery, Dave. Mysteries abound as a man evidently spontaneously combusted. I'm shocked just reading it. While walking on a London street and died from his injuries.
Really?
Yeah. Kind of weird. Investigators have been left mystified by the case of a 70-year-old pensioner who burst into flames and died in front of horrified passers-by on a quiet London street. I know how to pronounce London, Dave.
Nice.
I learned over the weekend. Pedestrians watched on in horror as they saw John Nolan ablaze in Orchard Place, North London, near Tottenham's Hotspur's White Hart Lane football ground just after 1 p.m. Some desperately tried to put out the fire as others called the emergency services. Mr. Nolan, who is an unmarried retired construction worker from County Mayo, Ireland, was flown to Broomfield Hospital in, is it Chelmsford, Essex?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, by air ambulance. Am I batting 100 so far?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right. I'm not 1,000.
Stop, drop, and roll, good man. Stop, drop, and roll.
You would think, but if you're on fire, I think you're panicking.
Yeah.
But died the next day. His body was 65% covered in third-degree burns.
Ouch.
Ow. London Fire Brigade special investigators were unable to find anything at the scene that would have sparked a fire, except for Billy Joel, evidently. Yeah.
Well, he didn't start the fire. It's always been burning since the world's been turning.
That's what he likes to say, but I think that's a convenient excuse, Dave, so he doesn't get arrested.
Oh, really?
Yep. Right. That's his alibi. No property or anyone else was harmed in the blaze. Detectives are appealing for witnesses to come forward to try and explain how Mr. Nolan came to catch flames. Oh, he caught him all right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Poof. Met Police Officer PC Damien Ait Amir, the investigating officer on the case, said, "We have spoken with a number of witnesses who saw Mr. Nolan ablaze, but we have yet to establish how the fire started. Mr. Nolan was a well-liked member of the community, and none of the inquiries so far have indicated that he had been involved in a dispute of any sort, nor does any account given by witnesses suggest that he had been in contact with another person at the time of the fire. Mr. Nolan followed his sister Mary to London in the 1960s and were later joined by their other three siblings. He had been living a few streets away from where he died in Tottenham. A post-mortem examination gave his cause of death as severe burns. His inquest will open at Barnet Coroner's Court on March 13th next year. No arrests were made in connection with his death, which happened on September 17th and is being treated as unexplained. At the time, his family told the Irish Post of their heartbreak. His brother-in-law, Tom Burns, said John wouldn't hurt so much as a butterfly. In fact, he'd find a way to bring the butterfly home and care for it.
Aww.
Yeah. He was a gentleman who would do anything you asked of him. He was described by neighbors as a gentleman and a truly lovely man. Anyone who witnessed the incident but has yet to speak with police is urged to call PC Damien Ait Amir via 101. You can also tweet information to police via @metcc. @metcc.
Okay.
There
So
you
that's
go.
if anybody knows how this dude caught fire.
Yep.
All right.
We move on to the world of sports, Dave. I know some people think that probably shouldn't mix with our show, but we're going to anyways because this is a darn good reason why.
Is it?
Oh, well, no, not really.
Oh.
Somebody forwarded me this story on Twitter this past week, and I only had a one-line response to this story, and I'll tell you after we read it.
Okay.
The New York Jets have gotten into a ghostly controversy with their wide receiver, Jeremy Curley. Well, he's going to wish he was part of the Three Stooges after this excuse. Jets receiver Jeremy Curley is back at practice after serving a 4-game suspension for a positive PED test. That's a performance-enhancing drug test, Dave. At the time of his ban, Curley said he was shocked. He was shocked, Dave, as he had never knowingly taken steroids. He would never do that, Dave.
Give me the drugs. Give me the drugs.
A month later, Curley's just as confused. He's though the experience has apparently led him to explore the possibility of realms beyond our own, Dave.
Really?
Here's the tweet that Calvin Watkins put out. Asked, how did a tainted supplement get in his system? Jeremy Curley said, I don't know. A lot of ghosts around here. Ghost put it in. You know, the ghost of Christmas past.
What? He's trying to blame it on ghosts?
Yeah. Yeah, the ghost.
Not even the devil made him do it. Just straight up ghosts put it in, huh?
Yeah, the ghost evidently peed in a cup for him when it was time.
Wow.
The Deadspin reporter that wrote the article said, I think I need to reread A Christmas Carol because I completely missed any chapters where Scrooge takes a drug test. Yeah, Jeremy Curley evidently wants to blame ghosts for his tainted PED test for the NFL. I don't think you're getting away with that one, son. Doesn't work that way.
Ooh, tainted PED.
Yeah, great follow-up to Tainted Love.
Yeah.
You can get it in a record store near you. Actually, kids don't get it from record stores anymore. They get it on the iTunes and the Google Play Store.
On the iTunes? Huh?
On the iTunes, yeah.
All
That's
right.
where they get all their music. Terrified student films a ghost caretaker stalking through an abandoned mental asylum. Everybody's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. A horrified student claims she captured the ghost of a caretaker stalking an abandoned mental asylum after dark. Kyla Peabody, I'm hoping that's her name, and I didn't just wear it out. Kyla Peabody, I'll put it that way, was exploring, is it Denbigh Asylum in Wales?
Sure.
With 3 friends when she came across a spooky derelict corridor. Well, don't describe it that way. I'm sure it was a fine corridor at one time. It had good character. Despite hearing banging, talking, and experiencing cold shivers, it wasn't until Kyla looked back at the photographs taken on December 2nd that she noticed the ghostly figure. The 22-year-old was shocked when she saw the ghost, quote-unquote, lurking in the distance and believes it could have been a deceased caretaker who used to work at the asylum. Kyla from Cheshire said it was really scary in there. It felt as though ghosts were present because I could feel the tension. Or you could have just been scared. But it wasn't until we returned to the car and I was looking through the photographs that I saw the ghost. As soon as I saw a figure, I had a horrible pain in my chest that went all the way down my arm, and I couldn't speak. It was terrifying. You could have been having a heart attack. Rumor has it that there's the ghost of a caretaker there, and I'm sure that it's him, or you could have had anxiety. Kyla, an avid fan of the paranormal, decided to explore the abandoned asylum after hearing that it was haunted. Despite being skeptical about what she would find, Kyla came out of the asylum horrified and having her beliefs of the paranormal confirmed. Kyla added, when we were in there, it was terrifying. Doors were shutting behind us and there was continual banging. Oh, I don't want to hear about what they were doing in there, Dave. I mean, that's up to those kids, really. When I was taking photographs, I could see orbs, of course orbs, and mist covering my screen as though the ghost was getting in the photo. As soon as I saw the mist, I knew I had to get out of the asylum, so I ran out. But as I was running, I could still hear voices. She could hear voices, Dave. She's kind of cute. I'd let her hear voices in front of me. However, even though I thought I was safe in the car, is that bad in this day and age for me to say that? Am I now?
If you talk about it, it is. I'm just going to roll over it and pretend you didn't.
All right.
Yeah.
However, even when I thought I was safe in the car, that's when I saw the caretaker in the photograph of the corridor. My fear took over all over again. Oh, my. I scrolled down to the wrong part of the article. I can't read now. Despite her terrifying encounter at the asylum, she takes a darn good selfie, by the way. Kyla insists that she wanted to return in the daytime and even wants to camp out in the asylum's adjoining morgue. Kyla said, although it was terrifying, going back to the building in the day would be a great way to continue exploring. We also didn't get to see the morgue when we were there, and that's something that the paranormal side of me really wants to see. I just want to camp there in hopes of seeing some more ghosts. It would be really interesting to see if the caretaker returned. There you go.
What did you think? I mean, looking at what they were looking at.
I think she's got amazing eyes, Dave. Oh, no. You're talking about what?
The ghost. I mean, I could definitely see an outline, what appears to be an outline of something.
Yeah, there's an outline there.
It almost looks a humanish form, but you don't know where the light source is coming from on it. And it could just be... Yeah, it could just be part of the wall back there. But I don't know. Interesting, nonetheless.
Because you see this, when you're looking at the picture, there's something almost identical to it on the left-hand side as well.
Tim, you're just pointing to her breasts. You're not even looking at the ghost picture.
There's one on the left and one on the right, and they're
Tim,
almost perfectly symmetrical, Dave.
Those are the only orbs, and they're not real either, Tim.
They're impressive orbs, Dave. They're the best-looking orbs I've ever seen on camera.
Oh, God. Move on. Where are we going next in the world?
Oh, Daddy. A dad is startled as the ghost of a landlady who died in 1893 appears at her old pub to pour a drink.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Ghost hunter Sean Reynolds is convinced he has proof that the landlady, named Betty, I don't know how they get these names, is haunting the ale house she used to run with her husband. We move on here. Eerie footage of a Bible and a cushion moving on their own is convinced a startled dad that a former landlady is haunting her old pub. Ghost hunter Sean Reynolds claims the ghost of a woman named Betty revealed herself at the building in Greater Manchester while he was filming. The landlady died in 1893, but 34-year-old Sean believes she was captured pouring herself a Christmas tipple. That's what it says in the article. That's kind of neat to say, a Christmas tipple. Not a nipple, Dave, a tipple.
Okay.
Yep. He is seen urging the ghost to make herself known before alarms on his paranormal detection kit go off. Sean said he felt a blast of cold air whisked past him before a camera set up in another room picked up spine-tingling footage.
Did you feel that wind blow past you, Tim?
Oh, my.
Yeah.
I need to take a drink off my tipple for that one.
That's Snapple, Tim. You're drinking Snapple.
Oh, that's not a tipple?
No.
Oh, my.
Tipple is what you never leave after a meal. That's what a tipple
leave
is.
a pretty good tipple.
Yeah, I've been with you.
Yeah. At
3%,
least,
no matter how.
Hey, 5% if they do really well.
Fancy.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, so Sean said he felt a blast of ice cold air whisk past him before a camera set up in another room picked up spine-tingling footage of a cushion and Bible visibly being moved. Ooh. The dad of two from Liverpool said during the investigation of the pub, our cameraman Paul was investigating in the cellar when I was investigating the main bar and calling out for Betty to make contact from the other side. I could hear strange noises coming from all around the pub, and I couldn't explain what they were. I had also set up a paranormal experiment and a locked-off camera in a corner of the pub, which was Betty's favorite place to sit. A cross, glass of spirit, and a candle had been set into the flower to see if anything could move in the hopes that we'd catch it on camera. Oh, I see what they did here. They did a little of that thing where you put the flower on the table to see if things move.
Oh, yeah. The flower. You're spreading the flower. That way, if anything scooches across, you'll see the scooching or perhaps even fingerprints.
Right. I also placed a Bible, which was owned and signed by Betty with the other items. Near the experiment was, I attached, that's a weird sentence. I attached a proximity sensor to the tray, which would go off if anything went near any of the items. To my surprise, during my investigation, I felt an icy cold blast of air rush past me, and moments later, the alarm on the equipment started to go off. I rushed over to see what it was and couldn't see anything, but that was only until I reviewed the footage caught on the other camera. What I had caught sent chills down my spine with excitement. On the locked-off camera, as the equipment alarms can be heard, a cushion appears to move all on its own. I can't find any rational explanation for this, and I was so excited to see what we had caught was potentially Betty moving a physical object on camera. To top it off again, while I had been investigating in a section of the bar, I asked Betty to blow the candle out on a table, but Betty had gone one further, moving the table and tapping on the table. This was one paranormal investigation that I will never forget. Capturing multiple paranormal occurrences on camera was amazing and something I've never seen before. Perhaps Betty was getting in the Christmas spirit and had sat in the corner ready to drink our drink and read her favorite book.
Nice.
It certainly got our whole crew excited and to have witnessed a happy Christmas spirit. TV producer and presenter Sean capturing the startling video while investigating the Outbets pub in Greater Manchester for his hit Amazon series Ghost Dimension. Outbets was built in 1796 by Richard Mary Ashworth as a local hostelry. Hostelry? Hostelry.
Right, that's like a hostel. That's where you can stay. Right?
I'm tripping over the word. And handed over to their son John Ashworth and his wife Betty in the mid-1800s. Once the Hare and Hound, the Outbets, got its current name in 1869 after John passed away, and the ale house was passed on to Betty, who ran it until her death in 1893. Pub goers and staff have reported sightings of a ghostly woman walking around the building after house and moving glasses behind the bar. The sound of a woman tutting as if she disapproves. And
was it like that, you think?
I guess, yeah. Either that or she was singing the Steve Martin song. Yeah. And footsteps have also been heard by people in the pub, according to Sean. The pub's website states it is believed that Betty may still keep an eye on her pub today, as many staff members have reported strange happenings and regularly hearing footsteps. Sean's first encounter with the spirit world was when he was 15 and woke in the middle of the night to the ghost of a big fella sat on the end of his bed wearing a lumberjack jacket and stroking his dog.
Is that what they call it nowadays?
I guess.
That's an old-timey euphemism or what?
I was going to say there's not much to do up there at the lumberjack camp. I can't even say it. I'm startled. But the dad didn't explore the spirit world again until he moved into a house in a cemetery with his partner, Rebecca Palmer. The paranormal obsessed parents now live in a house in a working...
Rebecca Palmer, huh?
That's what it says. His partner, Rebecca Palmer.
Did she have 5 sisters?
Probably. One of them's Rosie, I bet.
Yeah.
The paranormal obsessed parents now live in a house in a working cemetery with their daughters Isabella Palmer Reynolds, Darcy Palmer Reynolds, and 4-month-old Ella Palmer Reynolds. Sean said it all started when I was 15. I remember waking up and my dog Sam was asleep on the end of my bed. And when I moved the cover, I could see this guy sat stroking him. Red rocket, red rocket, red rocket.
Stop it.
A big ghostly fella, and he was wearing a lumberjack jacket. Being a teenager, I just pulled the cover over my head and went back to sleep because that's so easy to do.
That's weird.
That is weird.
I wake up and there's a man stroking his dog. I think I'm going to stay awake for a while.
Yeah, I might want to see what the heck's going on here. Yeah. But when I told my mom the next day, she told me it sounded exactly like someone she knew who had died. I never stopped believing, but I didn't get back into exploring the paranormal properly until I met Rebecca, he went on to say, and that's the name of that tune.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Good news. Where shall we go next?
Well, Dave, he's got UFO inside his DNA.
What?
I'm talking about Kendrick Lamar's son. You don't know that song?
No, I don't.
You don't know the song DNA?
I don't. I think I just said that.
It's in a commercial.
Oh, no, I don't. I scan right through commercials most of the time. Unless they're on our show, then I listen to every syllable.
I see.
Because these are the commercials you were looking for.
I see. Kendrick Lamar saw a UFO when he was 6 years old. That's according to him. The 30-year-old rapper claims to have spotted an unidentified flying object during his younger years. And while nobody has ever believed him, he insists he's not exaggerating about the surreal moment. He said, "Nobody believed me then, and nobody believes me now. I probably shouldn't even be talking about it," he said, "but I'm going to stand my ground."
Yeah.
Nobody believed me then, and nobody believes me now. It's just The guy smokes weed, though. I mean, maybe he was tripping. He was dripping and tripping. He had one too many acid trips. It's just something I can't really describe because it sounds like, okay, you just saw a dart go past, he said. That bleep don't make sense. It was just a surreal moment. Kendrick also believes he was abducted at the time. Ooh. Well, why didn't he write something about it?
It's getting interesting, yeah.
And that could be why he has a talent for making music. When asked by the Howard Stern show co-host Robin Quivers if he had ever been kidnapped by the UFO's crew, not the actual crew, like like UFO crew, but the actual UFO crew, he added...
I don't understand a word you just said.
He added, I probably did. That's probably why I'm doing music right now. Who knows? They probably gave me the energy. Oh. Weird. The loyalty hitmaker has also insisted there is another life form in the world ever since he spotted the UFO. Okay, this is where it just plain gets weird.
This is where it gets weird.
Yeah, it was okay up until now. He previously said, I seen that when I was 6 years old. My mother still don't believe me. We was in Compton.
They was in Compton,
Dave. I'm reading it for
City of Compton.
We was on our little balcony on the stairway. She was sitting drinking her little champagne or wine. I'll never forget it. In just a dart, a flash, just not the flash like a shooting star. Multiple flashes was in the sky. I'll never forget it, and that was my encounter. And still to this day, I know there's something else out there. That's what Kendrick had to say. I didn't put it quite like he did, but that's what he says, man. Booyah!
All right.
And all of a sudden, he's rapping.
What's next on the docket of strange and supernatural?
Well, a 13-year-old girl has been traumatized after finding her own grandfather's tombstone in a House of Horrors theme park ride.
What?
Oh, my word. Yeah, that might freak me out a little bit.
Yeah.
A girl has been left traumatized after finding her grandfather's gravestone as part of a haunted house attraction at a local theme park. The 13-year-old girl from Bavaria, Germany, took the trip to Dr. Lehmann's Hospital of Horror in the town of Geiselwind is it Geiselwind?
Yes. Geiselwind.
Geiselwind?
Yeah, that's exactly how you say it.
Why
are you having such trouble speaking the English?
I don't know. Everybody, they just pile on me, Dave. You ought to see the horrible, horrible correspondence.
Geiselwind, that means the wind from the guys, I think.
They all hate me, Dave. Before spotting the headstone complete with their grandfather's name and dates of birth and death. Yeah. The headstone is believed to have ended up in the park's possession after the girl's grandmother could no longer afford the lease on the burial plot.
Oh, yeah. You have to lease these burial plots.
Yeah,
I've been overseas looking in these deals, and there's like, you only get like 50 years, and then you're out.
That's
which makes sense. But what do they do? I'm curious what they do with the body.
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe Grandpa's in the actual attraction.
Make it a nice table or something out of him.
Oh, that'd be fun.
End table?
I'd like to end up with a nice family, as an end table.
What do you mean?
Well,
You'd like to end up with one? Are you saying you don't have one now?
Oh, no, I'm sure they're nice enough. But I mean,
You're sure your family's nice enough?
From time to time they act up. But I'm just saying that, end up with a nice family as an end table.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as they take care of me.
You're more built like an ottoman.
I'm just saying, if I ended up with, say, someone that looks like Halle Berry as her end table.
Okay. All right.
I'd be fine.
So if she looked like Roseanne Barr, not so much?
No.
Really?
Put me back in the ground.
That's horrible.
Yeah. I'm dead,
You're a dead materialistic bastard is what you are.
I may be dead, but I'm picky.
I guess.
Yeah. So the widow eventually paid a stonemason $200 to remove the headstone.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it ends up in a horror attraction?
Yeah.
That sucks.
But the family were stunned when discovering the stone had ended up as part of the attraction's decorations. I couldn't believe it until my daughter sent me a picture of the gravestone. The girl's 62-year-old grandmother told German publication Kitzingen. That's the name of it. I had to say it like that. She questioned why they had failed to remove the metal lettering on the stone before wondering whether it had been deliberate or not. It took a long time for me to get over my husband's death over 21 years ago, and now everything is coming back in cruelly, too, she said. The stonemason has since repaid the widow the removal cost and says the theme park informed him they would remove the inscription.
I think that's great. You know what? Honestly, Tim, if they want to put like a headstone of me up at like the Haunted Mansion, I'd be, do it. Yeah. When I'm dead, put it up there.
Why not? It's just a headstone, right?
I just, maybe they could just put, remember that one that's at the Haunted Mansion? It says, here lies poor departed brother Dave, chased a bear into a cave. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they could just put that'd be mine with Dave Schrader, like a picture of me on there. Like maybe our skull and microphone design, Scully.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
If you think there isn't going to be a headstone of Ric Flair at Space Mountain when he dies, then you're delusional. Because he always used to cut that in his promo. He used to say he was like Space Mountain. He had the longest line, best ride in the park.
I see.
When it came to all the ladies.
Okay.
So I'm sure that there's going to be a little tombstone of Ric Flair at Space Mountain at Disney.
Good to know. Good to know.
Don't argue with the devil, Dave.
Oh, I try not to.
He's more intelligent than us.
Really?
This according to somebody who may know, Dave.
Who?
Someone who is in the know.
Who?
Pope Francis.
Oh.
Yeah. Came out and said it this week, evidently. The devil is more...
Just call me Frank.
Pope Francis Albert.
Let's grab that dead devil by the horns.
He sounds like Robert Davi a little bit, doesn't he?
I'm Robert Davi.
The devil is more intelligent than mere mortals and should never be argued with, Pope Francis Albert went on to warn us.
Yeah. Well, but you can fiddle against him.
You can.
Yeah.
And the devil will pay his due or give his due.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah. Satan is not a metaphor or a nebulous concept, but a real person armed with dark powers, the Pope said in a forthright remark made during a television interview. He is evil. He's not like mist. He is not a diffuse thing. He is a person. I'm convinced that one must never converse with Satan. If you do that, you'll be lost. Okay, we need to make booking notes here, Dave. Never book Satan.
Well, we can book him. We just can't fight with him, Tim. That's the deal.
Well, Pope Francis Albert says we can't talk to him.
Well, it just means you don't want to engage him like in a debate because he's smarter than you. Maybe he's smarter than you, Tim. Maybe not me. I'm Darkness Dave.
He says, I'm convinced that one must never converse with Satan. If you do that, you'll be lost. Do you want to end up lost?
I'm already kind of lost, Tim. I don't know.
I'm already lost in the story.
Yeah.
So he told this to TV 2000, a Catholic channel.
Listen to me, this devil, he's cuckoo. He's crazy. He's a swinging cat. You don't want to talk to him.
And the Pope did something that confuses me because I didn't think Catholics were allowed to do this. He was gesticulating.
Pardon me?
Yeah, he was gesticulating. It says so in the article. He was gesticulating with his hands to emphasize his point. Now, isn't that a sin?
No.
You're not supposed to touch your gesticulums.
No, those are testicles.
They told me that in Sunday school.
Gesticulating means that you're moving your hands whilst speaking. Oh. It's kind of an Italian thing, I think. A lot of Italians.
They
like
do.
Me, Dave Schrader.
Yeah.
I'm not Italian at all. I talk a lot with my hands.
They do speak a lot with their hands.
Remember when I used to talk and I do this a lot?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You were like a kitty with a ball of yarn. You used to hit that microphone.
Bat the microphone because I'm always yapping with my hands. Now I just sit on my hands.
Yeah.
I gesticulate myself.
The Pope went on to say, he's more intelligent than us, and he'll turn you upside down, and he'll make your head spin.
Is that what he said?
He did.
He said he'll make your head spin?
He did.
Wow.
I'm quoting him right now. He also said, he always pretends to be polite. He does it with the priests, with the bishops. That's how he enters your mind.
Kind of like the Pope. Mm-hmm. He's very polite with priests and bishops. Think about it. What's he telling us?
He also says, but it ends badly if you don't realize what is happening in the time. We should tell him go away.
I don't know what dialect you're doing.
That's Italian, David. That's straight from Rome.
That's straight from Rome. Isn't he German? Rome. Isn't this Pope German?
No, Dave. He comes by way of South America.
That's right. The last one was German, right?
The last one was German.
Yeah, I can't keep this one's from South America.
But he's Italian.
So this one is more like this. Hello, everybody.
Well, he isn't Ricardo Montalban. He doesn't.
Don't talk to the devil. He's wrapped in rich Corinthian leather.
Right.
Yeah.
Pope Francis Albert frequently refers to the devil in his homilies, sermons, and occasionally in a ballad on Twitter, where he's followed by 40 million people in 9 languages.
Wow.
He does know 9 languages, Dave.
Show off.
Yeah, I know. He uses various terms to refer to the Prince of Darkness, including Satan, the evil one, the seducer, Beelzebub, and the great dragon. And don't forget about Sparky. There's that one, too.
Sparky.
Yeah.
Old Sparky.
Old
right?
Sparky,
Yeah.
yep. It's a Jesuit thing. He's a Jesuit who is deeply imbued with the spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius of Loyola. There's no Marymount at the end. That's a college.
All right.
Yeah. Which allows people to discern the movements of the good and bad spirit.
What about the ugly? Can they discern between the good, the bad, and the ugly?
No, that's Clint Eastwood.
Oh.
Right. Said Austin Inverai, a Vatican analyst and the author of The Great Reformer, Francis in the Making of a Radical Pope. Ooh, radical.
I know what you're thinking. Did he use all the holy water to tell you? And all the excitement, I lost track myself. So you got to ask yourself, Satan, do you feel lucky? Or do you, punk?
You're not supposed to talk to him, though. He'll turn you around.
Well, maybe. Not Clint Eastwood. I don't think he could turn Clint Eastwood around.
No.
He'd just open up his 44 Magnum on him.
That could be
and
argued.
boom. Has the ability to blow the devil's head clean off, Tim.
You know, the Radical Popes would be a great punk band name.
Yeah, we should open up a band now. Let's be the Radical Popes.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Can we do it sitting? Can we be a punk band while we sit? Because we're both very old and feeble.
We could, yeah. We'll need stools.
Yeah.
For him, this is real.
Better than the incontinent popes.
Yeah, the incontinent popes. They
that
would
might
need
be another 12
wheelchairs.
years out for us, yeah.
For him, this is real. These are not metaphors. It may not be the way that people speak nowadays, and some Catholics may be taken aback by it. A lot of people are uncomfortable with the idea of evil being real, but anyone who knows the spirituality of the Jesuits will not be surprised. 3 years ago, the Argentinian pontiff, he's from Argentina, David.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Oh, do you suppose he knows the whole musical?
You're supposed to have been in Myrtle. That's all she wanted. Not much to ask for. That is the Chicago playwright version. We saw that live in Chicago.
Did you?
Yeah, it was all Chicago actors. Yeah, they're Evita.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my wife, Evita Perron.
Baron. Evita Baron. We're going to take over this here country.
Yeah, you don't want to see a musical in Chicago with local stem.
No.
Yeah. The hills are alive with the sound of music. Ooh, ooh, ooh,
ooh, ooh, ooh. Hey, you know, Jim McMahon's in this one.
Is he?
Oh, yeah. He's pretty good at it.
He's the punky QB known as McMahon.
You'll never want to see Sound of Music until you've seen McMahon do it.
He is a hell of a Captain Von Trapp.
He is. 3 years ago, the Argentinian pontiff told a convention of exorcists from around the world that they were doing sterling work in combating the devil's works. Huh.
Nice.
He said that the exorcist needed to show the love and welcome of the church for those possessed by evil. In 2013, during an address to crowds of faithful in St. Peter's Square, he said the devil often appears disguised as an angel and slyly speaks his words to us. Ooh, he's a seductress. He shares stories about the devil's devious ways when he gives his daily homilies in the chapel of the guest house where he lives inside the Vatican. Oh.
I know who the devil is, Tim. Incarnate. It's Ronald McDonald because the bastard will not release McRibs in Minnesota.
Well, he's got to be.
That's got to be the devil, because who else would screw with me like this?
Nobody.
Do you think he'll whisper in my ear sweet nothings and promise me McRibs, and he'll turn my head and I'll converse with the devil known as Ronald McDonald?
With extra sauce, even.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
A couple extra pickles.
Yep. Last week, Pope.
I gotta go.
I know. Last week, Pope Francis is called.
Look at me, I'm hideous.
I can't even say Pope Francis. I'm thinking of that extra sauce and pickles.
I know.
Last week, Pope Francis called for the wording of the Lord's Prayer to be changed so that it blames the devil rather than God for leading us into temptation. Ooh, he's putting it right.
Where does it say in the Lord's Prayer that the Lord lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil? Oh, okay. So what he's saying is, hey, God, don't lead us into no temptation over here.
Put her right in the devil's lap.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, so the prayer's going to be more like this now. Hey, devil, don't lead us into no temptation. Let the Lord deliver us from this evil over by here.
Yeah.
That'll be the way it'll be, no?
And give us some of them extra wafers on Sunday morning because breakfast comes pretty late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take and eat of this, for it is my McMuffin.
And can I get an extra shot of wine? Because that would be that'd be really nice
Delicious.
if you could do that. I would appreciate that. He said the prayer had been badly translated from the Greek used in the New Testament, and the new version would better reflect its true meaning. It's not a good translation, he says. I am the one who falls. It's not him pushing me into temptation to see then how I have fallen. A father doesn't do that. A father helps you to get up immediately. It's
not true. My dad, I remember him taking me to Century Theaters to see Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
He dropped me off with my buddies. He said, how much do you need? I said, $5. He said, okay, here. And he handed me a 20. He goes, there's $5. I'll pick you up after the movie. And I looked at the 20 and I folded it up, put it in my pocket. I'm like, he thinks that's $5. I just made $15. And I started to get out of the car. He goes, hey, you have anything you want to tell me? I said, do not lead me into temptation.
Yeah.
My father tempted me with a $20 bill. And then he laughed. He's like, I was going to see if you were going to be honest. If you were honest, I was going to let you keep the 20. Then he handed me a 5. He goes, now all you get is 5.
Wow.
He delivered me from evil.
Major League movie dick move.
Yeah.
Is what that was.
That's my dad. What can you say?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
True story, by the way.
Wow. Huh. The Pope says it's Satan who leads us into temptation. That's his department. So evidently he's got a department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he heads up the department of keeping Dave away from McRibs and temptation.
I guess.
Yeah.
The life of a Christian is a continual battle against evil, the Pope has said. There you go. That's
So
the
saith
story.
the Pope.
So saith the Pope. We got one more story here.
One more story.
One more story.
One more story.
A family films a strange creature in Hawkesbury River, but can you tell what it really is? It looks,
Looks like a strange creature.
It kind of looks a little bit like a slee stack doing the backstroke.
Nice.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Mystery solved.
All right, let's go home.
A Sydney family fishing on the Hawkesbury River were stunned by the sight of a large creature splashing near their boat. Yeah.
Everything in Australia wants to kill you, so I would just guess this is not a good creature, whatever the hell it is.
I know. I can't pronounce this name. What is F-E-T-H-I? Is that Fethi?
Sure.
Fetty?
Fetty.
Fetty Ada.
There's Fetty.
Fetty Ada was wetting a line with his siblings, aren't we all? Daughter and grandchildren near Patonga when the creature broke through the water's surface. It looked human the way it lifted its head up, Mr. Ada told Yahoo 7 News. It was a very strange. We saw it for about 10 seconds. The Greystanes Kebab shop owner. What is it? Greystanes Kebab.
Kebabs. We love kebabs.
Kebabs? Mm-hmm. I love kebabs. Said he quickly pulled his leg inside the boat when the animal began flapping around. I would too.
This is Australia. There's like giant crocodiles everywhere.
Why would you have your leg outside the boat?
There are snakes. Yeah, what are you doing? What is he dangling? I'm going to use my foot for some bait, Tim. We're all out of bread, so I'm going to just dangle my tootsies over the side.
Those Australians are tough.
Yeah, they are.
They really are. Like if they lose a leg, it's no big deal. They have another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good Lord gave us two, Tim.
They're so tough. They're a little crazy.
Yeah.
But
hand me a mallet. I've got a crock on the end of my leg.
Right. Then they just beat it off.
Yeah. Pardon me?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It looked over towards us like, who are these people? The 65-year-old added. Oh, see, he's so tough and crazy. It's because he's old.
Yeah.
He's ready to die. That's what it is.
Jeez, I hope not. That's only 15 years away from me.
I know. My brother threw some bait in, and then it just got scared off.
Yeah.
So he threw bait at it.
Yeah.
He's
a vegetarian.
Probably. He was probably a vegan monster.
Yeah.
Secretary of Hawkesbury River Rescue, Felicity Brownrigg, viewed the video to identify the marine creature. It's rare you actually get to see many animals as they stay below the surface, she told Yahoo 7. My guess would be that it's a seal, she said. She also said the occasional bull shark and whale calf have been known to make their way into the river. That to me doesn't sound like a creature I want to play with.
It just sounds like a lake I don't want to be in.
No.
Dangling your foot over.
Yeah.
Hey, no worries, mate.
Just... Here, bull shark, bull shark.
As soon as I feel him nibbling on me toes, I'll pull my leg up.
No.
They're tough over there, Tim.
You know what? And I have neuropathy in my leg, so I never feel it. They could be halfway up my leg. I'd never
be good
know.
at least, right?
I did.
You wouldn't feel it. I'm just saying.
I wouldn't have anything to walk on either.
Yeah. Just think that if you were able to do that and drag your leg along and get the fish, you'd be a master baiter.
I would be.
Yeah, you just bait those fish and giant creatures right up to you.
I'd be doing it in public as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Speaking about doing it in public, we'd like you to have the best holiday season of the year, of the decade. And how do you do that? Well, this is how you're going to do it. You're going to email me, dave@darknessradio.com, and tell me that you'd like to buy a copy of the Paranormal Challenge autographed DVD miniseries set. I'll autograph it for you. It's only $30. I also have copies of my book, The Other Side, A Guide to Ghost Hunting and the Paranormal. Those are only $10. Just $3.95 shipping and handling for either or you can combine them for $40 plus $3.95 shipping and handling. We'll get them out the door to you right away. If you're interested, email me, dave@darknessradio.com. That's dave@darknessradio.com. And we will invoice you and get those out the door and in your hands right away. We got to take a quick break. We'll come back. We've got more coming your way with Parashare next on Beyond the Darkness.
Beyond the Darkness.
We're back. This is the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Beyond the Darkness. It's time for a little Parashare. Tim, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Shall we share some paras?
Let's share some paras.
This one starts off very serious, Tim.
Uh-oh.
It begins, sir.
Ooh.
Yeah. I wonder if this is another Nigerian prince looking to give me his money.
Can you share this time?
No.
Oh.
No, Tim. I keep giving my bank account, and until somebody puts money in it,
Oh.
I can't give you anything.
All right.
It says, sir, several years ago, my spouse and I spent Christmas at the Banff Springs Hotel. We were staying on the 8th floor in a room in one of the towers. In the afternoon, we had coffee on the main floor and watched a fire truck come to the hotel. We finished the coffee and returned to our room. The firemen were in the room next to us, trying to find out where the smoke came from that filled the room. Our room was fine. The evening, our thermostat about midnight was turned up to about 90 degrees. We opened the window and cooled the room, turned down the thermostat, and a little while later, the room was extremely hot. Oh, this is weird. This sounds like the Stanley Hotel. Remember how bloody hot it would get in the rooms at the Stanley? I would literally sleep. The maids hated me. I would sleep with all of my windows open.
I would too.
In the dead of winter.
Yep, I would
They're
too.
like, what? And I go, I can't control the heat in here.
Yep.
It's the paranormal. It's the supernatural. I go, I thought they make it cool. Call the ghosts into my room. I'm boiling.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, that evening, our thermostat about midnight was turned up to 90 degrees. We opened the window and cooled the room, turned the thermostat down, and a little while later, the room was extremely hot again. Then there were footprints out in the snow all around the perimeter. Oh, this happened 3 times. Then our wine glasses on the mantle jiggled across the mantle with a bit of noise. In the morning, we opened the balcony and walked out onto it, and there were footprints in the snow around the whole perimeter. We mentioned this to the staff in the morning, and they said, manly ghost apparitions are seen in the hotel. Oh, I think many. What I meant to say, not manly ghosts.
If they're manly, that's even better.
I'm a manly ghost. Boo, man, boo.
I'm the brawny man.
Yeah. Many ghost apparitions are seen in the hotel. They said, did you notice that the grand piano in the Rob Roy room was near the entry door? We said, yes. Reply, it had to be removed from the front of this large restaurant room because a ghost kept playing the piano after the restaurant closed each evening and the staff were refusing to work in the room. They changed the location of the piano and no more ghost. Thankfully, this did not happen the next 2 nights. We tried to change rooms, no luck, as the hotel was full and there were no other rooms available. The staff just said, take it in stride, and that's from Bob Howell.
See, my questions for Bob are odd ones. 1, is the only drink available in the Rob Roy room the Rob Roy? And 2, do they play piano in the dark in the piano room?
I don't know, but I can tell you there is no nookie in the champagne room, Tim.
Really?
None.
Oh, it's so disappointing.
Hello, gentlemen. My great-grandmother, Ma, short for Maud, was a stern mother, but a loving grandmother and great-grandmother of meager means. She was confined to her bed for her last 3 years of life, but stayed in her home where my great-aunt cared for her until Ma died in her late 60s. In the summer of the 70s, I graduated from high school and moved from the East Coast to Illinois with my family. My girlfriend, Teresa, came along to visit for the summer. She stayed in an upstairs bedroom with my sister and slept in my sister's bed while my younger sister slept on the floor next to Teresa's single bed. My room was in the basement. One morning, I woke up early and joined my parents for breakfast. They were having a very serious talk. "What are you talking about?" I asked. "Didn't you hear Teresa wake up screaming last night?" they asked. "No," I responded. "Well, she did. She said she woke up and saw the face of a woman in the wall next to her bed looking at her." "Oh," I said, "a bad dream?" "Well, maybe," they said, "but don't tell your sister. The mattress on her bed is the old mattress that Ma died on." And the face Teresa described sounded like Ma. "Ooh, spooky," I said. 6 years later, I'm living in South Dakota with my wife, not Teresa, and 18-month-old son, also not Teresa, Tim. And one morning, my son was eating breakfast with us and asked, "Who's the lady in the ceiling?"
No.
Yes. I now had the mattress, and we had just moved my son from his crib to his new bed with an old mattress. We bought a new mattress.
Okay, time out. This is one of my big-time pet peeves / phobias.
Sleeping on beds where people died?
Yes.
Yeah.
Burn it.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. Throw it away.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Now, when my stepdad died, you know, when you die, you release fluids. And when he died, he released fluids. At that point, you've ruined the mattress, first of all. So you got to get rid of it. But second of all, if you believe that you're tied to certain objects in this life, spiritually, and I understand wanting to be close to certain things, but what's more intimate than a bed, Dave? And I'll ask this of a man who has 8 children. What's more intimate than a bed? Let's just wipe the slate clean.
You know, when my mom passed away last year, she had my dad bring her favorite pillow.
Okay.
So she passed away on her pillow.
Right.
And my dad hands me the pillow and he goes, "I want you to have this. This was her favorite pillow." And I took it and I didn't want to say anything to the old man, but I'm like, that's creepy. I don't,
yeah.
But you know, I mean, I kept it.
Yeah.
And it's sweet to kind of have it, but it's also very
the pillow's a little different.
morbid. But to me, that's a lot more. That's a lot more personal.
Right. It is.
So I kept that, and I've got it in my closet. I'm trying. I guess maybe if her spirit's in there, she's keeping the ghost child in check.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
My mom won't tolerate that nonsense. She won't stand for baloney. So, so I've got that pillow, and I've actually thought, what if I slept on it tonight? What if I wonder if I could connect with my mom?
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I can't do it.
No?
No, it creeps me out.
Yeah.
My mom died on this pillow, dude. I watched her take her final breaths with her head on this pillow. I can't.
That does have a bit of a.
Here's my deal.
factor,
what if when we did our very first paranormal events in Warwick, Rhode Island, and we were at the hotel there that was haunted, and those 2 guys came down clutching their throats, claiming that they were choking and gagging on their own blood.
Yep.
Or it felt like they were gagging on their own blood. And then we find out that's the room where the guy slit his own throat.
Yep.
And choked to death. I can't get that image out of my mind. So I'm like, didn't we sleep in that room?
I think so. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And that was, remember how it got like 9 million degrees in there?
Yep. Got really hot.
But that had nothing to do with us.
No. Don't get the wrong idea, you weirdos.
Reel it back, freak show.
Yeah.
So the idea of that, I don't know. I want this connection with my mom, but I don't want it. What if I pick up on her last few minutes or something? I don't know.
I get where you're coming from. That's the thing. It's a little too close for comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, mattresses, I understand they can be expensive.
But not that expensive.
Somebody cashed out on it.
There's financing at stores nowadays that's easy to get. You can go out and get another.
That's why
mattress.
I don't like to buy I won't buy much used furniture. I don't like to buy used furniture. I'll buy I bought some kitchen chairs for my table because it's kind of this cool mishmash of eclectic look, or what we call shabby chic.
Yeah, shabby chic. Yeah.
Hobo rich. So we've got these different chairs. But I couldn't see like a used couch from somebody I didn't know or a used bed.
Used bed, no.
Couches, people just fart on them all day long.
Right,
so it's just like you're buying somebody's fart cushions.
Right.
So I know this firsthand. I've done the research, Tim.
See, I've taken hand-me-down couches from my grandparents before. That's okay. But for some reason, I don't know why.
That's because we were younger
And we needed the furniture.
Yeah, and we needed the furniture. Yeah. Sure.
But I draw the line at the bed. The bed is just, it's too personal and no,
So what if nobody died on my bed, but you knew this was the bed I procreated
Hell
in?
no.
Would you take that bed? What
Nope.
if you could get that feeling, Tim? What if you could pick up?
I love you, buddy, but not that much. Nope.
You'd be laying there and all of a sudden you feel something start to mount you and weep afterwards. You'd be like, Dave?
Yeah. Dave? Why is my belly getting bigger? What?
Oh, wow. This one is, this is kind of sad, Tim. I'm not going to lie. The way this one starts off.
Yeah.
Dave et al. So meaning, and whoever else.
Oh, damn.
Right?
All right.
You're kind of just not even, I mean, there's more letters there than Tim.
All of a sudden I became less than the wait staff.
Yeah, I'm not even, like TIM, 3 letters.
I'm the gardener.
ET space AL.
Wow.
5 there. He could have just saved 2 by putting Dave Tim.
Might as well go out and trim the hedges.
Number 1, listen, he goes, I don't have a ghost, just voices, but it's a pretty creepy experience. For several months in 2001, I heard loud, angry male voices in my head.
I did too. It's called my dad, and it's therapy. Therapy takes care of it.
No words, just loud grumblings. I could hear them whenever I wanted if I remained quiet. This just never went away, and I was worried I was mentally ill. On September 10th, I was very anxious and could not sleep. The foreboding was unbelievable, like a weight on my chest, and it didn't let up for hours. I knew something horrible was coming, but I couldn't ID it. I resorted to alcohol to sleep. That's what a lot of mediums do.
Yeah.
A lot of mediums end up, when they don't really know what they're dealing with, resort to self-medication, drugs, and alcohol to try to bury the sounds and the voices. It says, I finally fell to sleep around 4 a.m. Pacific time, right around the time that the first terrorist boarded the plane on the East Coast. My husband called around 7:30 a.m. and said, do you have the TV on? Once I heard him say this, I knew that the foreboding was validated. I literally sank to my knees and screamed, no! Then the voices were gone. That's from Barbara in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Wow.
You know what's really bizarre?
What's that?
I was home sick from school, raging migraine when the Oklahoma City bombing took place.
Really?
I was home when the space shuttle blew up. I watched it blow up.
Really?
I was home on 9/11. I had stayed home with a horrible migraine, and my wife came into the room and said, wake up, we're under attack. I'm like, what? She goes, America's under attack.
You're thinking the house is under
I'm
attack?
Like, what's going on? Yeah. And she was like, wake up, we're under attack. And I'm like, what? So she turns on the TV, and we're sitting there watching the smoking World Trade Center, and all of a sudden the second plane comes.
Yeah.
It hits the building, and I'm like, what am I watching? Is this like a clip for a movie? She's like, no, David, America's under attack. And I knew she was serious because she called me David.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was weird. I've like, every time I stayed home sick, I just got nervous about watching TV. I'm like, I don't want to know what's coming next.
I had actually, with 9/11, I had come back from Green Bay that weekend, and I had torn the ligaments in my ankle, and I was on pain medication, and I had turned on the television, and I had called in late for work that day. I left a message, and I was working down Minnesota News Network at the time. And I'm laying there, and I'm still feeling the residual effects of the pain med. So when I turned on the television, and I'm laying in bed, and my big purple leg is laying up there.
This is a family show,
and I see the same image you're talking about, the tower on fire, and the second plane hit. I thought I was hallucinating. I thought it was the drugs.
Right?
Yeah. I went, oh, what the heck?
It is. It's all been an illusion, Tim.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden I realized I'm not. Right,
it looked so fake. Like, and when the buildings came down and the smoke, they had just done Independence Day, and I think that Godzilla travesty of Godzilla that America put out in '98.
Yeah,
it looked like special effects from those movies. I'm like, this doesn't even look real.
Right.
I know we're going to get all the whistleblowers and truthers that are going to say the buildings, it didn't happen that way. But
speaking of truthers, we just got past the 5th anniversary of Sandy Hook.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. My heart is out to those families. I try not to bring it up because of all the morons that write in and tell us Sandy Hook didn't happen.
Right.
Yes, I'm talking to you. If you honestly believe Sandy Hook did not happen and that no children were slaughtered needlessly, you're a moron. So do me a favor and turn off the radio and go listen to something else, you cow-tipping freak. All right. So I had a guy on Twitter the other day go, you've really become a jerk since you went off the air. Did you see that message?
I didn't know.
Yeah, and they're like, you've gotten so mean since you went off there. I'm like, how am I mean? I guess I just heard it. I just heard it come up.
Well, you know what? You're able to shoot a little bit. That's what they call it in the wrestling business.
Shoot a little bit?
You're shooting. Yeah, that's the thing. You're shooting from the hip.
Yeah. I think I said this on the radio, too.
You did. This isn't anything you haven't said on the air.
Have I been meaner? Do you think I'm mean?
No, I think you're just not pulling as many punches. That's the thing. The thing is what's nice about podcasting is you can be a little more honest. I think
be a little bit more edgy.
Yeah, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And here's the thing, people can sit and be keyboard warriors and can be as honest as they want with you, but the minute you get honest back, they go, "How dare you? You're supposed to be nice to me.
You're mean."
No.
Yeah.
If you're gonna shoot from the hip at Dave, expect to get shot back. I mean, that's the thing.
I don't want to be a bad guy. Take a look at the bad guy.
Take a look at the bad guy, eh?
I'm doing my part, man. I'm doing my part.
It's not that you're being a bad guy. It's just that, hey, sometimes if you want
one of the listeners pointed out, maybe I think it's when you two are just to paraphrase them, it's when you two are acting like dicks, joking around about a news story, and it's obvious you're being dicks on purpose,
right?
And maybe this person's taking it a little too personally. So it
that's the thing. If we're doing,
but I was just pretty mean. I told people if you believe that it's screw off and listen to another show.
Here's the thing, though, and we've discussed this, and I'll make this real quick. We've discussed this before about conspiracy theories. There's a line, and I even do a talk on conspiracy theories where I state this. There's a line. There's a line of delineation between reality and fantasy. And a lot of people cross into fantasy, and they choose to believe that fantasy is reality. At that point, you need to pull yourself back. If you don't pull yourself back, expect to be put in check.
I understand that kind of going through that portal, through that, through the mirror, through the looking glass. Because when you start reading into some of the conspiracy theories,
it's fine to read into them.
No, but I mean, your mind starts to work, and then you're like, what if this did happen, and what if, and what if, and what if, and I can see following into that vein, but there are some things you have to reel back, and there are just some.
It's fine to read the what if. It's fine to go, wow, that that could be plausible and it could happen. The minute you start believing it, living it, and thinking it's the truth, is the point where you need to
question and research into it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's fine. But to make a definitive statement, and I love it, it's people that were not boots on the ground.
Yep. Yes.
That weren't there, but they read it online and they read another truther's website. Well, people lie.
Right.
People fabricate to make up their own reality because to them, this is how it went down, and you can't talk them out of it. So you might have just read somebody's website who believes this.
Right.
I've not had anybody be able to stand up, and I've had people point, well, you should talk to this guy. And I go read it, and he comes off like Alex Jones, who, in my personal opinion, is a moron.
He is. Completely.
He is a blithering idiot moron.
Completely.
And if he wants to call the show and talk to me about it, you can't. We don't take phone calls, Alex.
Not only that, we've invited Alex Jones multiple times to come on the show. He won't.
No, he's afraid.
Yeah.
He's afraid.
If he can't.
I don't know if he's afraid.
Well, he is. You know why? Because if he can't control his reality on his own show, he doesn't want to appear on your show.
Right.
Because you'll break him down in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what blows me away about Alex Jones is how people don't just see through the perception of what he is. He talks about something horrific, but thankfully, in the InfoWars store, they've got the elixir to fix that problem right now.
You know something, David? This is actually the Alex Jones impression. Here's the deal, David. We got a problem here in America, and this is what it is. Basically, we've all gone batshit crazy.
Right. Yeah. But then he has an elixir to fix it.
Yeah.
Or pills or supplements
taint wipes or whatever it is he's selling.
Ooh, I could use some taint wipes.
Yeah. They're flower-scented taint wipes, I think, that wipe away the crazy.
The world would be better, I think, if we all had cleaner taints.
Well, they would.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah. Hi, Dave. Although this isn't a holiday ghost story, it is true. It's a ghost story that happened to me this last summer. I stepped outside.
True that.
Suddenly I'm Kingfish from Amos and Andy. I stepped outside to get some air, dipped to my pet cat Shadow. Dipped? I don't understand this sentence.
I don't either.
I stepped outside to get some air, dipped to my pet cat Shadow. As I did, Shadow suddenly arched his back with his hair standing straight up. He hissed, looking at something. I immediately look in the direction of where the cat was looking, and I see a young man, Asian, standing behind the car parked in the driveway. catching him just as he dipped behind the rear of the car. Well, assuming it's a neighbor friend attempting to prank me, I instantly stepped to the rear of the car, and I was shocked to discover there was no one there. How about that? So first and only time that happened, that comes from Steve in Las Vegas.
Jeez.
Thank you, Steve in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
The disappearing Asian behind the car trick.
I saw David Blaine do that once. Yeah. It was pretty impressive. Yeah.
All right. We're going to tackle this big story, Tim.
Okay.
This may be the only story we can fit in.
Oh, maybe.
Right? All right, we'll do this. We gave people extra
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
Parashare, and we might do that more often, throw in an extra couple episodes. If people are cool with that,
Sure.
we'll do some more of the Parashare. And I do want to take a quick moment to remind people. Next week, Christmas week, we're off.
Yeah.
We're going to put in best ofs the entire week, but we're going to pick some of the best episodes. And if you remember an episode from way back that you'd like to hear again, email tim@darknessradio.com. He'll sift through the archives. He'll go down there. He'll blow through the dust. He'll dig in the old moss-covered boxes, looking through the snake piles. Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? He'll brush away the spiders, and he will find some of the best old archives to play for you guys the week of Christmas. So for many of you that have joined us only in the last year, they're brand new episodes to you. For those of you that have been with us for years, it's a great reminder of a quaint friend. You get a chance to hear some cool old episodes.
I already have gotten emails.
Yes.
And
That's tim@darknessradio.com.
do you want to cringe real quick?
Sure.
Do you want to know one of the episodes that was requested?
Yes.
Margarita Monday.
Margarita Monday. A Margarita Monday show. Not the new one we did this year.
No. The original.
The Cinco de Nino?
The Cinco de Nino.
The 5-0 the Nino?
The 5-0 the Nino. Yeah.
Okay. The Cinco de Nino show. Well, why not? Why not? It's a Christmas Day miracle, right?
Right.
Because that's Christmas Day. The 25th is Monday, Parashare Supernatural News.
I believe so, yeah.
So why don't you throw that up there for just fun? It's the Margarita Monday original episode. I'm one of those, maybe I'm just too hypersensitive. I listen back to it and I don't find it funny. I listen back to it and I'm like, oh, we just sound like drunk morons. But I guess people really enjoyed when you and I just kind of cut loose and giggled like idiot morons. But we had fun on the show.
We did. I'll have to go dig it up.
For those of you that don't know the story, it was we'd come into work and it was Cinco de Mayo.
Right.
But we were pre-recording the next Monday's show on Cinco de Mayo. And there was a big Cinco de Mayo party at the radio station. So they kept offering us stuff. So we kept going in there, and they had work margaritas. When have you ever had a work margarita that's potent?
Never.
Right. So we took the work margarita. Well, many work margaritas.
Oh, God, yeah.
We were lit like candles.
Yeah.
We had a great time,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
I remember.
God,
I had a
yeah.
raging headache when I went home from laughing, but it was a good time. So we'll put up Margarita Monday as one of them.
Sure.
And then we'll dig through and see if we can find some other really cool classic episodes.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into this story now. Good morning, Dave and Tim. I was unaware of your show for the longest time. I don't listen to many podcasts, only one actually. About 6 months ago or so now, I heard promos for your show on the Dan Patrick Show podcast. The promos intrigued me, and I downloaded my first podcast of your show. I've been a huge fan of the show ever since. I really enjoy how you and Tim present the information and have fun with a lot of it. I've been a loyal listener of the podcast ever since. I have a story that might be a Parashare or even a theater of the mind. Okay, let's see where we go with this. Like a lot of people in a certain age bracket, my interest in the paranormal was stoked by the show In Search Of, narrated by Leonard Nimoy back in the 70s. Here is where I first learned of Bigfoot, and that's where the story begins. At the time, I lived in a small town on Galveston Bay outside of Houston called Barcliff. One of my closest friends at the time lived on 3 acres of woods. His plot of land was flanked to the west and the south with more woods, so it was quite woody. That's how it works, I guess, when you're flanked by wood, it's quite woody.
Quite buzz.
Yeah. His father had a chicken coop about half acre back from the trailer they lived in at the time. The whole property was fenced, so the coop was kept open, so the chickens were essentially free range before any of us knew what that word meant. The chicken coop had a central roost with its own simple gate, and the coop itself was fenced against with its own simple gate. My friend Anthony, being the oldest child of the family, had as one of his chores going out in the evening every night to close the coop roost and gate up the coop. This happened in the summer of 1977. At the time, one of the independent Houston stations aired a program called Terror Theater on Friday nights. They would show 4 or 5 mostly B horror and or sci-fi movies of various, mostly bad, I recognize now, quality, but I loved that show at the time. Sometimes they would have a central theme and show movies related to that. On this summer night, all of the movies they showed were various Bigfoot, Sasquatch, wood monster, critter type movies. When I stayed over at his place, I would go out with him to perform the securing of the chicken coop. It was a lot of fun, usually. Just to go walking through the woods at night. We could see the back of the trailer fairly clearly by the floodlight in the backyard, so it wasn't pitch black in the woods, even without a flashlight. This night, however, was different. Being a couple of 11-year-olds, watching Bigfoot movies wasn't a good prelude to having to walk out in a bunch of woods at night. Normally, we would go out at dusk to close the coop, but the first show was just too good and we put it off until the first show was over. Now it was completely dark outside, and we had to close it. Wild animals could get in and kill a bunch of chickens. This happened about 6 months later. A feral dog jumped over the fence and killed a bunch of chickens before his dad could kill it with his rifle. Good grief. You know what that kind of hunting is, right?
No, what's that?
Bunch of dead chickens?
Yeah.
Poultrygeist.
Oh, God.
I love that joke.
Jeez.
I will use it every chance I can. So now the two of us are gingerly walking through the woods, trying to be brave. We aren't quite running to the coop, but we are walking a little bit more briskly. We enter the coop area and go to the inner roost and close that door. We turn and both start running full speed to exit the coop area. I get hit hard. I'm stumbling forward and clear the gate just through inertia and fall, sprawling into the leaves outside the coop. Anthony slams the coop shut and sees me go down. He looks behind me and he takes off running in a speed and gear I didn't know he had. Now, I'm not trying to get up, stumbling like a stereotype in a slasher movie. Anthony is now well ahead of me, running for the back door of the trailer. I can see him clearly silhouetted by the floodlight, running towards safety and occasionally looking back in terror. I finally get my feet firmly underneath me, and I'm now approaching that gear that Anthony rocketed off in. Anthony's on the back porch looking behind me, looking very nervous and fearful, and I can only imagine what horror might be lurking behind me. I follow the immortal words of Satchel Paige, "Don't look back," because it might be gaining on me. I finally reach the back porch, leap up to it. Anthony catches me, and I finally turn around to look toward the chicken coop, and I see nothing. I mean, just the woods, the shadows, the coop, but no Bigfoot, no chupacabra. Wasn't a thing then, but neither free-range chickens. Nothing whatsoever was to be seen. We both started talking excitedly, hurriedly, but quietly, as we should have done the hours ago, so we were working on the download to figure out what happened. We don't want to alert his parents that we were essentially slacking off. As we're debriefing each other, here's what we learned that happened in real time. When we closed the roost that took off running, I tripped on a tree stump inside the coop that was used for unfortunate hens that will become dinner. Anthony didn't see that part, just heard the hit, my grunt, then saw me stumbling and then sprawl into the leaves and dirt. 2. Anthony thought something got me. He took off running to get his dad and the aforementioned rifle he kept by his bedroom door. Sound thinking for a panicked 11-year-old full of Bigfoot thoughts. 3. When I saw Anthony hit the flank speed gear and look back, I thought something was behind me. I knew I tripped on the chicken coop, chicken beheading stump and tried to regain my feet so I could reach flank speed to safety. Like I said, I stumbled several times like the stereotypical horror movie character before I firmly got to my feet. 4. When Anthony gets to his back door before he runs inside to raise the alarm, he looks to me to see me on my feet running full speed, so he waits till I get there. He's still looking behind me to see what got me. Fortunately, the chicken beheading stump decided wisely to not give chase. I see Anthony looking furtively behind me in an alarm, which increases my fear, and there is something back there. So I kept running full blast till I make it to safety on the porch. As we fully debrief each other, we realize there was no Bigfoot or Sasquatch or any other nefarious critter trying to do in a couple of 11-year-olds with overactive imaginations this time. I do have some genuinely paranormal things to share at some other time. But that is my true story. That was a theater only in my mind. Keep up the great work, Dave and Tim, and that comes from Greg Olson. Greg, you are a tease.
Yep.
With that, we're going to have to wrap up the show. Thank you all for tuning in. Be kind, be loving. We'll be back with you tomorrow, not only with a brand new edition of Beyond the Darkness, but more True Crime Tuesday. And remember, you can subscribe by going to darknessradio.com and click on the True Crime Tuesday banner. If you're having trouble finding it on the website for any reason, email me, dave@darknessradio.com, and I'll send you the direct link. For only $5 a month, you get 4 to 5 brand new episodes of the best in true crime talk radio. We look at some of the weirdest and most bizarre cases. Plus, you get to hear some dumb crimes, stupid criminals, and occasionally the two of us giggling like morons. So sign up for that right now. It's only $5 a month. That's less than $1.25 an episode, especially when you get that 5th episode.
Oh, yeah.
That sneaks in once a month or once in a while. So please sign up for that right now. Just $5. That goes a long way to help not only that show, but to help us afford to do this show. So join us on True Crime Tuesday as well. Take care. We'll be back again tomorrow with the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Beyond the Darkness.